presentations, if you have any recommendations, and, until like maybe 12:45. So maybe we need more share from all the tables, because I just noticed that.
Share? Okay. Actually, I have a question to everyone that presented today and who's going to present tomorrow. As you know, for doing our institutes, for facilitators, we used to have a facilitators day, which is the day before the beginning of the institute. We sit together, and it's like cast sitting together to discuss what they're gonna do starting tomorrow. How we're gonna present, how we're gonna deal with groups and everything. Have you done this before? Your workshops, all of you, and what is your feedback or the feedback that you got from this?
Any comments about Dr. Farhan?
At this point, especially, there's a lot of feedback because you have to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And my team actually were facilitators in Lamia and Ahmad's event, Ahmad also. So they had the background idea about what it is that we want to do exactly and active learning strategies and everything. But still, these meetings were very crucial. I actually thought I underestimated the amount of meetings that were required. As I went on, I realized that we needed more training together. So it was basically a continuous amount of training until the workshop came to make sure that everyone knows the exact point of everything. So this was actually crucial, the preparation thing, the behind the scenes. Then I realized how much work you guys must have put into the first one. It was incredible. It was a great amount of effort.
For our workshop, one of the main facilitators of facilitators are here, these 4 people. Yes. So we actually had the background in Egypt one, we know most of the things, but we were in touch by emails, by WhatsApp, by Facebook, and we had several meetings separately and together.
They prepared us well enough. I mean, you prepared us well enough, the first institute, because actually I noticed the difference in coordination between the team when I was in their team, part of this team, and then with my own team that haven't attended the first institute. I noticed how we together, the 4 of us, we didn't need to meet a lot. It was maybe 2 meetings and the rest by emails and everything, and it went on very smoothly. So I owe that, of course, to the first institute. In comparison to my team, which was it needed a lot more work. So because of the foundation.
It's more a comment about Cairo University workshop that we have students from the first year beside the faculty members and postgraduate students, and we asked them to write down the recommendations. And this was very interesting that we faced like a lot of ideas, and all of them were new. Hadir have, I think that you have the posters for the recommendations. They have the posters for the recommendations. How the students, they don't know anything about the material safety data sheet of the chemicals they are using. They didn't know where even the whatever, any first aid kit in the lab. Everything regarding the lab safety, they asked that they should know where it is in the first lab, beside the science and the difference between the caution and how it is like poisonous or dangerous, and how it's like boring, how the shapes are different. We asked the students to write down like a contract that they should be supervised in the lab, they shouldn't be alone in the lab, and they put down the points what they need. This is the new thing that the students in the first year, second year, and so on, they have good ideas. If you are interested, Hadir have the recommendations if you are interested to have a look at it. Thank you.
Hi, I had a very good experience. I was within 2 workshops. That one mentioned with Mona Zaid, and one I'm going to mention for the one that supposed Ahmed was going to present. Actually, I couldn't find what, I don't know your name? Ola. I couldn't find what Ola said reasonable with me. I couldn't understand what's the difference. But we had colleagues from the same department and different departments. We didn't know each other very well, but we were working all the time, and we were compatible. And that was Dr. Mona and Dr. Lamia and Dr. Ines from our college. On the other side, when Dr. Mohammed Fergani applied for the grant and he got the grant, I had 2 colleagues from totally different places. I had Dr. Ahmed Hilal from Kabul University. I didn't see him until the day of the workshop. And,
he's coming to the whole workshop, by the way.
And I met Dr. Haq the same day too. She's working in the National Research Center. But we were communicating through all the emails and everything. But even though that we didn't meet until the day of the workshop, it was really compatible between us and the connection between us. And when we started and ended the workshop, it was like really smoothly. So that was one of the things that I'm going to talk about is how you can be compatible with somebody you didn't see, but he has the same basis that you have, and he can implement it with you. So everybody can think, oh my God, they are like really good teamwork, and they are very compatible colleagues to each other. Thank you.
I want to just to explain what Ola meant. Because we have our workshop, I was a BI and Dalia was a co-BI. So in this workshop, we have 4 facilitators from the first Egypt 1 institute. So Ola and Ahmed were facilitators and speakers during this workshop. And this was a team in the first workshop. And then there was another workshop. Ola was the BI for this workshop, and her team was already participants in our workshop. So there were participants in our workshop, and then they became speakers in here. So they were not, maybe they were not ready for this kind of
They were
preparation.
aware of the objective, but it wasn't in there in the way that we wanted it to be. So I have to have a lot of
Actually, I wanna say something about this, because when you said something about you were compatible, you didn't have to meet, but you started first day and it was okay. I'm really warning about this, because Lida will remember, and everyone in the committee, what we had since starting, which was May 2011 in Trieste. And every time we do a workshop, institute, we meet for a day, for facility, even if we have just, if you have all facilitators and instructors, or yes, we meet. So if you have just one new face, so you have to meet all of you. It's very important to do this. It's not part of the, you have to put it as a part of your policy. Don't do it like, yes, we can do it. Even if you repeat what you have did before, it's very important to do it as a preparation, even half a day, whatever it is. Because I remember since we started in Kuala Lumpur, in Amman, in Egypt, we meet one complete headache day, if I remember it. Yes, from 9 to 9.
Not only that, we also do meetings after the workshops are done for the day, either to prepare for the next day or to sort of.
It's in addition to.
Yes.
But I'm concerned. I'm specifically saying what it has to be for a complete facilitator there advance. In addition to what just Lida said now, and also we meet every day for 2 hours just to prepare, to review what happened and to prepare for the next day.
Maybe this is also my comment regarding the full presentation, because I noticed there are new facilitators in these workshops. So the question is, how did you develop this new facilitators training, or the training of trainees for the 4 presentations for the new facilitators? Do you have any comment for the 4 presenters about how did you provide a TOT for the new facilitators? Because I think maybe they had lack of knowledge about these active learning techniques and stuff. So any comments?
In our team, we have a new facilitator who was Dr. Ines. She didn't was with us in the second institute. We have to learn here what is active teaching, what is plagiarism, what is fabrication, falsification, and she was in the beginning didn't match with our head, because me and Dr. Sas and Dr. Lamia, all of us take the workshops of the National Academy of Science. By the end of the workshop, she began to make active teaching for herself, for her presentation. In the first, we gave her some suggestion for the the active teaching. By the end of the preparation, the last day before the workshop, they began to put her activities. We share our presentation in the last day before the workshop. We discuss our presentations. Each one of us said, yes, this is right, this is overlapping, yes, this is not. We try to make sure there is no overlapping in the presentations, no overlapping in the activities. By the end of this discussion, she made their own active teaching, and she said to us, stop here, I will make my own active teaching. I don't want your suggestion. I will make my own suggestion, and her own suggestion was very good, more than we gave to her.
Well, the other facilitator in my workshop also was another colleague in my department. And as I was saying, she was one of my best friends, so we really had no communication problems. Well, firstly, why I chose her in particular, because she was so enthusiastic about the issue. When I told her that I attended this institute, I was really inspired, so she was really enthusiastic. And then I simulated some of the activities that we did in the workshop to her. And then I made my lectures. We had like 1 month preparation for the contents. And I gave her my lectures and told her, okay, so I'm going to do this and this, so just show me what are you going to do. And then we took it stepwise. And then I believe that she's like, even she excelled in some of the things that she was like, we were brainstorming, she was coming up with ideas. So I believe that firstly, you have to make sure that the other person is enthusiastic enough, and then you try to prepare them stepwise till they reach the same level.
Yaldız?
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Really very exciting and impressive. One question as a pedagogical instructor, your preparation for your facilitators or your trainers. I want to know if you go through the taxonomy, Bloom's taxonomy and alignment of objectives, the assessment, the summative assessment, the formative assessment, because what I noticed that you stressed on the formative assessment in forms of active learning, and that's it. What about the alignment of the objective and designing your session? It was in a backward design actually, or it was as usual? Searching for our content and put our question and formative assessment just to ensure that we deliver an active teaching. So, anyway.
I was going to answer the question. I was going to comment on how to choose the facilitators. So, is that right? Or do you need somebody to answer the question first?
I want the persons who did the presentation and the training, the trainers or the facilitators.
So do they go
through the pedagogical session about alignment and objective, designing the session through the backward design, what we did in our session?
In my case, we didn't go over this very thoroughly, honestly speaking. But how, I was going to comment first how I chose my colleagues. There are two of my friends, and one of them is very big on plagiarism. Plagiarism for him is a very big issue.
He's doing it?
No. He's been hurt by plagiarism a couple of times, and then he's taking it very seriously. He's a very renowned scientist in physics and cosmology. I think his papers is everywhere. All media outlets were speaking about him last year. He's a guy who came up with this new theory about cosmology and disproving the Big Bang, and Ahmad Farag maybe. So plagiarism for him is a really serious issue. So I know him, we're friends, so we had to meet for 2 months. Me and Ahmad and Tariq. Both of them are physics professors, and physics are physics professors. Excellent. No, they're excellent. They think science is
like physics and collecting stamps, other than physics.
We have one of them.
We have two. Yes. So, you know, they think all sciences is physics, right? And collecting stamps, other than that, basically. So we had to meet like for 2 months. I spoke with them about active learning. They're already using it in their lectures. They are very popular physics professors in our university. We had to meet like for 2 months on a regular basis. They prepared their presentations. We have rehearsal for like a couple of times. So it wasn't a big deal actually. They, as Dr. Maha just said, they were excelling even more than I did in these topics. They had to teach the fabrication and falsification. One of them gave the session, and the other one was giving the session about plagiarism. And it was really it was a real success. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to reply to Dr. Yabez. I think we did what you said, because we did during preparing the proposal. We set the goal for our workshop, and then the objectives for the whole workshop, the objectives for each session. Then we started to prepare the materials. So I think we did it in the right order. And also we were thinking about are we going to use Hawk or Log, right? So I think we did it in the right order, like this.
So, to last question, Jeff.
That's a position. Okay. I want to make a comment more than a question. I think that what you're finding is the same thing that all of us find when we do these. And that is every workshop that we do is a different workshop because it has different people in it. But there are some things that go throughout them all. And it is extremely difficult to give someone else's presentation. And the very first thing we have to do is how do we make that our own? And there are certain core principles involved, but the question is, you use those assets which you have to interact with the audience and make sure that they are on board with you. The most critical part of every workshop after you've done it is to sit down immediately and talk about all the things that went well and all the things that did not go as well as you would have hoped they had gone. And you start then making those refinements. How am I going to do this the next time? And how do I avoid those pitfalls that came, and they will come? How do I avoid those in such a way that it enhances what I do without detracting from those things that went well? Because you all got a certain amount of time that fits into the book. In terms of the facilitators, the most important lesson that we need to learn is that within the actual conduct of the workshop, we're not leaders, but we're facilitators. We're not trying to let our audience know how much we know, but we're trying to help them discover how much they know and how much they can learn. So what do we need to do to help them discover that? And frankly, I've been doing workshops for years, and every time I do one, I learn something. And every time I watch someone do something, no matter whether it's their first or their 50th, I learn something from each of them because of the unique set of skills that we each bring to the exercise. I think, on balance, all of you have done exceptional work. Can they all be improved? The answer is obviously yes. I know that, you know that. And the question becomes, how do you do that? And since he says this is the last word before lunch, and since I'm standing between you and lunch, I hurry up and get out of the way. It is extremely, no matter how many times you've done it, you've got to walk through it before you actually set up and do it again. Because, you know, there are certain things that we do, we fall back on human nature, and we keep falling back on, this is not interactive, this is me giving a series of mini lectures for which I stop every now and then and ask an anecdotal question and then answer it myself and then move on.